Good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, I know reports have been running rampant regarding Undefeated, 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight, undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Terence Crawford, who is 38 wins, no losses, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Terence Crawford is a hot commodity today because Terence Crawford is a free agent. Terence Crawford has parted ways with longtime promoter, legendary promoter, Top Rank CEO Bob Arum, ESPN, and Top Rank. So Terence Crawford is the talk of the town in the sport of boxing as to where's Terence Crawford going to sign to. Is he going to sign to anybody? Is he going to stay a free agent? Is he going to sign with an investment group like MTK Global? What is going to be the next move for Terence Crawford? Well, I'm here to tell you that there were reports that Terence Crawford is going to sign a multi-fight deal with Premier Boxing Champions, PBC, founder and advisor Al Heyman, to be able to stage the necessary fights he's looking for his legacy in the big fights in the sport of boxing. Terence Crawford was unable to secure those big fights because the best welterweights in the world are with the PBC, and there's a roadblock between PBC and Top Rank making the big fights on a consistent basis. Now, they will make fights here and there, but on a consistent basis, it just doesn't exist. So with that said, Terence Crawford hasn't landed those big fights. His last fight was the biggest fight of his career, the most competitive opponent of his career, biggest name, and two-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Showtime Sean Porter, in which he was successful in doing what was never been done to Sean Porter, beating him in a fashion that had never been done when he dropped Sean Porter twice and ultimately stopped Sean Porter in the 10th round, got a stoppage victory, dropping him twice in the 10th round. So with that said, immediately following the fight, post-fight press conference, Terence Crawford, he announced that, he was parting ways with Bob Arum, ESPN, and Top Rank. And many people applauded because Terence Crawford hasn't gotten the big fights. Terence Crawford is now taking the Top Rank to court, Bob Arum to court, citing that they mishandled his career, okay? So with that said, like I stated, there's been reports that Terence Crawford is signing with the PBC multi-fight deal that could possibly see him face off against 2-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia, or against former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith One-Time Thurman. And then head into the massive mega showdown that everybody, the world, has been anticipating and waiting for between himself and undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Errol Spence Jr. Well, there's reports that he's going to announce his big signing with Top Rank, with PBC, that he's already signed his contract to fight with the PBC. Well, that's not true. As I told you guys a few days ago, that's not true. That's not the case. And now it has been reported that Terence Crawford is indeed waiting to see if Errol Spence is successful against Yordenis Ugas. Errol Spence has a massive unification bout coming up April 16th, next Saturday, Arlington, Texas, AT&T Dallas Cowboys Stadium, against the WBA, World Boxing Association welterweight world champion Cuban star boxer Yordenis Ugas, who is 27 wins, 4 losses, no draws. Yordenis Ugas is 12 wins by way of knockout. He's 35, 5'9" with a 69-inch arm reach. Errol Spence is 27 wins, no loss, no draw, 21 wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. So that's scheduled to take place next Saturday, April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Well, now it has been reported that Terence Crawford indeed is going to wait until the outcome of that fight. He's waiting to see if Errol Spence is victorious. If Errol Spence is victorious against Yordenis Ugas, then Terence Crawford will sign with the PBC. If Errol Spence loses to Yordenis Ugas, Terence Crawford is going to make a different decision. Okay, he's going to mull over his decision and his next move. which most people would expect Terence Crawford either which way, because Yordenis Ugas is signed with the PBC as well. So in order for Terence Crawford to get those belts and become undisputed in 2 separate weight classes, he has history of Yordenis Ugas. He lost to Yordenis Ugas in the amateurs. Well, it would still make sense to sign a deal with the PBC to face Yordenis Ugas. But Terence Crawford, as I told you guys, has not signed and will not sign until he sees the outcome of Errol Spence and Yordenis Ugas fight, and then he'll make his decision based off of that. So Terence Crawford, he wants to fight Errol Spence. He's itching to fight Errol Spence. Errol Spence, he recently came out. He stated that, the whole 60-40 talk, between him and Terence Crawford is not a sticking point. He's not concerned with the split being 60-40 in his favor. He will, negotiate whatever it takes to get a deal done to fight Terence Crawford next. Okay, so that's great news. And it seems like Terence Crawford's plan right now is to focus on Errol Spence. And we know his team, they stated that if Terence Crawford can't get the fight with Errol Spence, Terence Crawford is going to move up to junior middleweight. He's the WBO champion, the World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion. And the way they operate, if Terence Crawford decided that he wanted to move up to junior middleweight, 154 pounds, then he would automatically be the mandatory challenger for the champion up there, which more than likely is going to be Jermell Charlo, who's the unified junior middleweight world champion. Now, Jermell Charlo, he's going into a massive rematch undisputed showdown with the WBO junior middleweight world champion, undefeated Argentinian star boxer Brian Castano. They fought the first time, it ended in a draw, and now Jermell Charlo, Brian Castano will have their anticipated rematch that's scheduled to take place May 14th. Okay, so Jermell Charlo beats Brian Castano, which he's going to be the favorite, which most people expect him to do. He was expected to do it in the first fight, but the first fight ended in a draw. And so Jermell Charlo, he beats Brian Castano. He'll be the undisputed champion. He's the unified champion currently as it stands. And we know that Terence Crawford had made mention of a possible fight between himself and Brian Castano. And Jermell Charlo. He stated that, he would love to go up there and challenge Jermell Charlo. He feels confident that he can beat Jermell Charlo. And, that would be a very interesting fight. So, he's looking to make himself the mandatory challenger. So if Errol Spence loses, Terence Crawford could vacate the 147-pound division and go up and challenge Jermell Charlo. Now, obviously, many people are going to feel like, why don't you just go ahead and fight Yordenis Ugas for undisputed, sign with the PBC and fight Yordenis Ugas, and then become undisputed and then move up, right? Or, because it's still the accolades. Now, I know the fight itself means a lot. Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. That's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. It's the most anticipated fight currently as it stands. I mean, there's history there between him and Ugas, and it would be about accomplishments. And like I said, I know it's the biggest fight, the most anticipated fight, of this century, arguably, and of this decade, excuse me. I said this century, of this decade. And, maybe for Terence Crawford, it's anticlimax in that if Errol Spence was to lose. But you have history with Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas would be coming off of massive wins. He arguably beat Sean Porter in his fight in 2019, but he didn't get the nod. He beat Manny Pacquiao handedly. And then if he's to beat Errol Spence Jr., well, that would speak volumes. He would have beaten, unofficially beat Sean Porter, Manny Pacquiao, and Errol Spence Jr. So it makes the fight with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence enormous, okay? With that said, business-wise, Terence Crawford is making the business decision that he's going to wait to see the outcome of the fight before he announces or signs or do anything, make any moves. So he don't expect Terence Crawford to do anything until after Errol Spence fights next week, and and with Yordenis Ugas before he makes a decision. So I know there's a lot of reports. There's a lot of people sending me information and giving me information. There's a lot of people, sending me, clips and sources and things of that nature. And there's many people, but Terence Crawford has made the decision that he's going to wait till Errol Spence, the outcome, Errol Spence and Ugas before he makes a decision. So, gotta respect it. Let's see how that unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Oh, and another thing is, well, that has to tell you just how interested Terence Crawford is in actually fighting Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia in a 2-fight deal. If he's waiting for Errol Spence, seems like his focus lies with Errol Spence. So let's see how this plays out and unfolds. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV. All one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Oh, it is your boy Jada Kiss. Make sure you check out Blue Blood Sports TV. It's going down.